I really spent the last 16 years of my life building out Lifeway Foods, which is a company dedicated to wellness and health and creating healthy products like kefir, which many of you might be drinking now, but if you're not, I hope you get some. It's part of the self-care routine that I am really dedicated to and hope to inspire others to live with. I think a lot of times in our lives things will happen to us or around us, and there are things that we can't control, things that are completely out of our control. But what we can control is how we treat our bodies, how we take care of ourselves, how we eat, how we sleep, how we rest, how we talk about ourselves, how we think about ourselves. So those things are really, really important to myself, to Lifeway as a corporate mission, is to empower as many people with information around health, around wellness, around mental health, all the things that we're now learning in science and research.
You grew your company from 12 million to 130 million in revenue. Now that we have that out on the table, let's get your tip. Let's start with you, Julie.
Well, one of mine comes from an experience I just had with my daughters who walked into a room that they felt a little uncomfortable in, and I said, "You are rock stars. Walk into every room with confidence and know that you belong. Shoulders back, chin up, crown on, and it doesn't matter what you look like, actually, and that it goes from everything from how you're dressed to what your body shape is to your age. Walk in with confidence."
Well, and you had to experience this yourself, right? You took over your father's company when he sadly passed away when you were 27. No one thought that you could do it.
Right.
Or very
right.
few people thought.
Usually the youngest one in the room, usually the only female. And yes, I had to walk in and conduct myself with confidence always.
And you should remember, too, half the people in there aren't confident either, right?
Well, that's what I've learned, that actually everyone feels incredibly awkward all the time. We're all just kind of trying to make it.
The purpose of my life is to heal. And that when you heal yourself, you heal your family, your friends, your community, the world. That when you choose to heal, you are saying, I choose love. I choose to love myself. I choose to hold space for myself. And that if all of us choose to love, that we can collectively heal ourselves. We can invite the world to heal and love with us, to vibrate higher with us. That if I wanted to heal the world, to change the world, it had to start with healing myself, because the world is a mirror and vice versa.
Let me start with Julie. When you heard our topic, the future of work, what does it mean to you? What's the top set of ideas you'd like to put on the table?
Sure. Well, first of all, thank you for having me. It's wonderful to be here for the opening session, and couldn't be more timely, as I think we're all thinking about what the future is. I initially wanted to talk about automation and robotics and how that's changing Lifeway, but I can't help but be completely, I don't know if overwhelmed is the word, but really moved by the disclosures that we're seeing in Hollywood and across our social media feeds by friends and family and coworkers and mentors and bosses and everyone, it feels like, is coming out with their disclosures of the experiences that they've had in these toxic work environments or on college campuses or just in life in general. And I think
after the publication of that Harvey Weinstein thing last week, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's been kind of building for, even before the election. It's been happening for a little while now. And in part, I would like to think that The Hunting Ground, the film that we produced, was part of the catalyst for some of these disclosures. But yeah, the future of the workforce is changing. Millennial women are really driving a lot of these changes in culture and asserting their own rights. Millennial women are not going to stand for the environments that are baby boomer mothers had stood for and tolerated. They won't allow these kinds of abuses to happen anymore. They're not going to be silent about it. They're not going to be shamed by it. And this is an unprecedented, unburdening and collective response to what is an epidemic, a silent epidemic across all of our societies, where 1 in 3 women in the world are raped, beaten, or murdered. 1 in 6 men are victims or survivors of abuse. And the repercussions, the toxic lifestyles that this creates, the conditions that the after effects that it creates, it permeates through our entire society with far-reaching tentacles. And as a leader in the health and wellness space, I view my role as moving beyond just making sure that people are eating healthy, beyond just making sure that our diabetes and obesity rates and BMI rates are in the right balance. I think that health and wellness, real health and wellness, has to include the ability to go get an education safely, to be in the workforce and feel safe, to be safe in our homes, to be safe in our communities. And when we're not safe, that there's a response to whatever things that are happening, whether there's resources, mental health resources. And a lot of what we're seeing is just symbolic of these social injustices that are happening, and because of the lack of gender parity in workforce, where there's less than 4% of CEOs in Fortune 500 companies are women, less than 6% of directors are women. We see it in government. There's been 1,900 congressmen in history, and there's only been 50 senators, 1,900 senators and 50 female senators throughout all of history. How does that impact policy? How does that impact laws? How does that impact these accountability? And so, yeah, I look at, these are just some of the things that I'm thinking about right now.
So a key word I'm hearing you, I'm just jotting, is parity. Like
Parity,
that is
yeah.
something that in the workplace would go a long way to reducing the chances of abusive behavior, you think?
I think it's a start.
Yeah.